Okay, a few days from fight night for Tariq. Everything gone to plan? Good training camp?
Fantastic training camp. Yeah, it's been really, really good. Everything's gone to plan. Really smooth, fantastic sparring, and just been watching Taz get sharper and stronger the whole way through. So yeah, I'm really, really happy.
Finished the year on a high last year.
Yeah.
Was it hard to motivate him for this fight?
No, not at all. It's just exciting now because we had a great year last year. 6 fights, 6 wins. He only lost 2 rounds, maybe 2 rounds, and he shared a round. That was it out of 30 odd rounds of fighting. Obviously, come away with the Masters title, which is a great end to the year. But it was a fantastic fight with Sam, and now we're looking at this year and big things. This year, you know, we're coming into this year. We didn't stop training. We've trained over Christmas. We've kept it going all the way through. So now, this fight, you know, we've had a little bit of a hiccup over the weekend with this fight, but everything's back on track now. You know, we've got a new opponent. Camp's gone fantastically well. Sparring's been excellent. This camp, we've predominantly sparred with Eamon O'Kane, and we've done quite a bit with Nick Blackwell as well. So Tariq's got, I mean, it's world-class sparring. You know, Eamon's ranked 8th in the world. Nick's right up there, mandatory for British title, fought for a European title. You know, he's only 1 or 2 fights away, and he's going to be, I would say, in the top 10 in the world potentially as well. So, you know, it's fantastic. Just watch Taz get sharper, fitter, stronger. You know, we've adjusted things. We've done things slightly different in this camp, not massively different, because obviously from the last fight, he was in incredible condition, and he's looking at it right now, you know, so it's good, very, very good, very happy. And now we're fight week. We've not had a break at all, really. Come straight back into this. We're focused on this Friday, the 13th. We'll get the job done in style on Friday, and then look for the next fight. We're hoping to have another fight, hopefully in March. It might be on another show, possibly like we did with the Masters title fight. And there's potentially some big news about the April show in Gloucester for Keith. So, you know, fingers crossed on that one. Tariq could well be headlining that. So it was something special. So the motivation's there because last year was fantastic. This year's going to be another fantastic year, but it's going to be a bigger year. You know, we'll really start knocking on some doors.
What sort of a performance can we expect? You know, this time improved again?
Yeah, I think so. Certainly from a sparring point of view, he's looked fantastic. You know, we're always working on things. We're not always working on potentially new things as such. We're looking at perfecting what Tariq does best. You know, before you introduce anything else, let's get everything that we want and what we know 100%. Once we've got that 100%, then we can introduce something else, and then we can do something else, and then, you know, so it's a case of we're just perfecting things at the minute, you know, and you know, a lot that we've been working on is, I've seen it in sparring. I mean, his footwork, he's come on leaps and bounds. His footwork's fantastic at the minute, you know, and it's just like there's another arrow, you know. It's just another one there. We'll get another one, you know, after this fight, and then we'll get another one, just everything takes time, you know. We can improve things, and we can learn new things, but basically, you know, Tariq's boxing ability is there. You know, I can't teach him that because it's already there, you know. His coaches throughout his amateur career for when he was young have instilled that in him, and he's learned himself as well, and he's developed that. So all I'm looking to do as his coach is just develop him further, improve on what he already does, and just try and perfect what he does. Once we've got that perfection, then we can start working on some other things. I mean, the unfortunate thing was that our original opponent, Mark Till, he's not available now because he fought at the weekend, which is a great shame because for the last 3 to 4 weeks, we had a plan that we was working to, and after studying Mark, knew what he does, knew what he brings, you know, just knew him inside out as best as I can from obviously watching footage and whatever. That's now had to go out the window because obviously he's not available. Now we've got a new opponent, and the new opponent's completely different. His style is completely different. But I've been here before, loads of times with Kelvin. You know, the amount of times that me and Calvin worked towards a game plan, and then literally a week before, that opponent's not available anymore, and we get thrown another opponent. So it's like, oh, okay. So it was just readjust, and you know, Tariq's ready. He's ready for whatever's in front of him, if I'm honest with you. So it's just a case of like, we'll just do some slight adjustments to the actual plan, and he'll carry it out.
You've still got the confidence in his ability against anyone anyway, haven't you? So
don't question it at all. Really, don't question it. It's a case of how quickly we progress forward opponent-wise, and that's the only thing at the minute. It's just like, okay, we'll one step at a time. But he's ranked 11th in the UK at the minute. There are certainly a couple of names in the top 10 that I quite fancy now, and I believe that he'd beat them. A couple in the top 10. One of them's ranked very highly, and
names.
Nope. I'm not calling anyone out. Don't want to get into that. But I'm very confident. But again, one step at a time. Let's get Friday out of the way first, and then potentially, if we can get another fight in March on a show somewhere, brilliant. Then potentially we can have a big fight on the Gloucester show in April, potentially. So that's kind of what we're looking towards right at this moment in time. But the main thing I want for Tariq is to keep him active. He just needs to keep active, because the more active you are, the more you improve and the quicker you improve. So it's just, I need him to box at least once a month, ideally, and then we're serious contender. Then we'll keep going up them rankings, and then by the end of the year, who knows where we are, potentially fighting for an English title. Maybe even British by the end of the year. I don't know. It all depends on the progression fight by fight. If I don't feel he's ready, and if Tariq himself doesn't feel he's ready to go into an English title fight or a British title fight by the end of the year, then fine, we won't. There's no point to rush. He's 24 years old. Got loads of time at the minute. There's no point in rushing, because it's a case of plotting and planning the career steps properly. So it's going to be exciting.
And it's key that he turns full time at some point soon. He's got another job to fit in around training. So sponsor's key, isn't it, to come on board soon? Sponsorship
is key. Sponsorship's key to most boxers, but we've got a guy here representing Swindon. Originally from Peterborough, but when he boxes, it's Swindon and Peterborough. He needs some sponsorship, because at the end of the day he does work full time, and you kind of think, well, this guy works full time. We're in the gym every day, around about 7:30. He disappears to work about 9:15, and then we're back in the gym at 6:30 at night till 8:30, 9 o'clock. If we could split that day up, do the morning session, do a lunchtime session, and that extra session, and then do the evening session with eating right and resting in between all that, Tariq is already a machine. He's already very fit, very strong. He's a real force to be with. If we can add that extra dimension by him being a full-time professional boxer, where we can travel, we can be away, we could go up to Sheffield to be with Team GB for 2 to 3 days at a time. We could be down in Brighton with Eubank for 2 to 3 days at a time. We can go anywhere to get the right sparring and the additional training. Can't do that without sponsorship, and Tariq doesn't have any sponsorship at all right now. And you kind of look at it and you think, well, wow. How's no company, especially local company for here or Peterborough, picked up on this kid yet? 6 fights, 6 wins, fantastic wins, not dropping rounds. He's lost two rounds, and both of those rounds that he lost were in a fight against Jamie Ambler. The very next fight, Jamie's gone out, and I think he had 2 wins on the bounce. And it wasn't that long ago when he did the distance with Paul Smith. It's a quality opponent. Out the 6 rounds, Taz dropped 2 against Jamie, but won the other 4. So again, it's like, Tariq's a special talent, and he's a real live prospect. Needs some backing. Just needs some backing so that he can fulfil his true potential. And a sponsorship comes on board. Whoever comes on board first will get looked after the whole time. So when he's knocking on the door of that British title, potentially on TV, whether that is Box Nation, Eurosport, Channel 5 even, or Sky. I bet we get a few people knocking on the door then, but it'd be nice to have something in place with a sponsor now to get the loyalty, or a few sponsors, just to make it up, so that he's got a mortgage, he's got a family to look after, he's got a young son to look after, and this is his dream to box, and effectively his future. You think that sometimes you can get them phone calls, and he could make a very comfortable future for himself. just needs some backing to be able to help him to get there. Without the backing, it's going to be more difficult, but I think we'll get there anyway without the backing. You know, he's got that much potential. You know, he's a very, very exciting young fighter. So hopefully there's a couple of sponsors out there that'll look at Tariq's next fight, maybe even come on Friday, and they'll see the next one and think, yeah, actually, this kid is worth investing in. You know, and you know, it's an investment for the future, because I think the future is very, very exciting for him. Very exciting, and hopefully, you know, everybody's going to be there to see it. He's already got a following in Swindon. You know, we've got great support in Swindon already, because he's exciting. You know, he's fun. He brings, you know, he has you on the edge of the seat, because, you know, that's the way Tariq fights. You know, and the great thing about him, he's got everything. He can fight and he can box. He likes to fight. You know, sometimes I prefer him to box, but he likes to fight. And, you know, it's like the Cousins fight. That first round of the Cousins fight, I sort of said, look, I know what Sam will bring. I know he's going to try and jump on you straight away, and he won't be trying to feel you out. He will jump on you straight away. So box him. Keep it at range. Throw out that jab, move, blah, 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 blah. Oh, no. Tariq just went straight at him. Just started throwing big shots straight away, and it's like, but it was working. I just sort of sat back, and I said to Phil and Gary in the corner, like, I'm okay with this. I'm okay. and it worked, you know. So it's like, okay, fine. You know, you're in control. I didn't have to rein him in. Didn't have to shout to him like, get back on your bike. You know, box first. You know, let's just jab and move effectively. Nah, it was working. I was like, okay, fine, crack on. And we all know the reaction of the crowd. The crowd, bearing in mind, the crowd wasn't really there for Tariq. You know, I think he had about 60, 70 supporters, and there was like, I don't know, 800 to 1,000 people there. And you were there. The crowd were going mental for him. You know, it was an unbelievable atmosphere. He won that crowd. You know, so the next time we're on a show in that neck of woods, sort of the Leicestershire area, we're going to draw another crowd, because they'll remember what they saw on that night. And it was a great fight, you know. Both of them, they put up a fantastic show for him. So, you know, that's what gains you fans. You know, so, you know, Swindon switching on to him, fantastic, which, you know, we're so grateful for the support of the town. You know, Peterborough support him, and we've got fans in Leicester now. So, you know, he's building. It is building. So it's exciting 12 months. So I can't wait for Friday.